The island of Sodor is a very special place indeed. There are lots of different forms of transportation: road, bus, tractor, and railway, among many others, of course, but railway is the most popular. You can see lots of engines hard at work, like Thomas, who always cheers everyone up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor.
Touring around Sodor. It is springtime on the island of Sodor, and the engines like showing the passengers the beautiful sights along the railway line. There are the hills, the mountains, the seaside, and forest, and the engines love taking the passengers across the island of Sodor. Thomas was in the shunting yards one morning. Hello, Thomas. Hi, Rebecca. Thomas had no idea what his day was awaiting for him, until Donald shunted in with an engine Thomas had never seen before. Woo woo! Hello, Thomas. Hi, Donald. This is Gavin. He's going to help you today on your special job. Nice to meet you, whistled Thomas. Hello, said Gavin. I'm from the mainland. I am one of the strongest and fastest engines on the mainland, and soon Sodor. The fat controller arrived with Winston. Thomas and Gavin, he boomed very loud. You will show passengers and vacationers along the special sites of the standard gauge railway. You must make the passengers want to stay here for the summertime. Yes, sir, and you must both work together and take passengers along the same route and meet Gordon and Rebecca back at Knapford Station at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye, said Donald. Yes, sir, said Thomas, and the fat controller left with Winston. Come on, Gavin, we have to go to the station to collect our passengers and we'll go along by the seaside. I don't want to go along by the seaside. I want to puff through the hills and the mountains, said Gavin. It is a special place, I've heard. Yes, but the fat controller said we should work together, and I know the railway, and I want you to learn the line. I can work gratefully by myself, said Gavin. All right, suit yourself, said Thomas, and they puffed to the station. Gavin had 3 coaches hooked to his back, and Thomas had Annie and Clarabelle. Gavin had 1 coach, the brake coach at the back with food, and 2 coaches filled with passengers. Thomas's conductor blew the whistle, and he puffed to Gavin. Gavin, let's go together. Have you changed your mind? No, said Gavin. I want to go through the hills and mountains. And Gavin's conductor blew his whistle, and he pulled away. Thomas followed quickly after him. He didn't want Gavin to land into trouble. Gavin steamed along ahead of Thomas. He thought he knew the line, so he turned off onto the main line, away from Thomas. I can do this by myself, he hooted. Thomas puffed quickly after him, but down the branch line. It was a beautiful day. Donald was in a siding shunting trucks, and Rebecca was puffing happily down the main line with her freight cars. But then they heard Gavin. Whoopee! Out of my way! Tourist train coming through! Whoa! Screamed Rebecca, and she hit Donald's truck, and they came right off the rails. Poor Rebecca, said Donald. Dominic and Wisdom steamed up the hill. Come on, Dominic, we have to get the passengers to Vickerstown in time, she said. Coming, Dominic tooted. He was enjoying pulling passengers with his friend. But then, excuse me, cried Gavin. He came whooshing past with the express tourist. The coaches rocked and rolled. "Bust my boiler," said Wisdom. "He's going fast." Thomas was showing the passengers around by the seaside. He was thinking about Gavin, and Annie and Clarabelle were having a splendid time as the passengers peered out of the window. "The seaside is always beautiful during spring and summer," said Thomas. "On to the station." He was worried about Gavin. Gavin came whooshing through the tunnel. He was going so fast that he couldn't stop. "Help!" He applied his brakes, but it was too late. Gavin crashed off the tracks. His wheels hung dangerously over the edge. "Oh no! Help!" Gavin was in terrible trouble. He was in danger. Gavin could see down below. The engines were working hard. Gavin's crew tried to get him back on the rails by themselves, but it was no use. Then he heard a whistle. It was Thomas. "Wah, wah." Thomas puffed through the tunnel. "Don't worry, Gavin, I'm going to help you," cried Thomas. Thomas was coupled on. The food spilled out of the coaches, but Thomas got Gavin back onto the rails just in time. "You should have listened to me," said Thomas. "I know," said Gavin, "and I'm sorry." "Don't worry," said Thomas. "I'll get you to the station." Rebecca and Gordon were waiting with the homeward rush of Thomas and Gavin's passengers, and Thomas and Gavin steamed in. "Wah, wah. Woo, woo." The fat controller was cross and waiting for them. "Gavin, you have caused confusion and delay. You should have listened to Thomas and take care next time." "Yes, sir," said Gavin. "I told you," said Gordon. "What do you mean?" said Rebecca. "We're brothers," said Gavin. "You too," cried Thomas. "Yes," said Gordon. "This is my brother, Gavin." Time to go home, and Gordon and Gavin steamed away, leaving Thomas and Rebecca in shock. Wah, wah. Have you ever had an accident because you thought you knew everything and didn't want to listen to someone who knows more than you? Once, Melody had an accident because she didn't want to ask for help when she was pulling a very heavy load, and this got her in danger, and she crashed into a snowbank and came right off the tracks. No one was hurt, but Melody had made her train late, and she knew next time to take advice. Once, Wisdom's train came uncoupled because she didn't want to work with Dominic, which got Dominic derailed. And their train was almost late too. But luckily, Wisdom saw the error of her ways and decided to help her friend. She puffed back down the hill at once. See you next time.
He's the cheeky one. James is fame, but